What's up, guys? This is King Yak, and welcome back to another episode of the 25 Days of Cubing, where in today's episode, it's day 5. We're going to be taking a look at the 6x6 Rubik's Cube. So, as I kind of mentioned in previous videos, with these larger n by n higher order puzzles, they all follow the same theory of reducing essentially you're just reducing this larger cube to function like a 3x3, so only turning the outer layers and then solving it as such. So I'm not going to go into too much detail because again, this is kind of the same as solving like the 5x5 or 4x4. And yeah, so we're just going to start with building the centers. In this case, I want to do the red center first because I see this bar here and I see that this pair can easily come down like that to make a solid bar. So we already have like a good chunk of the red center done. Next, I see these red centers, which can be paired with this to make to build our next bar. And then I see the corner edge here, so go ahead and bring that up. And now we have half of the red center already. So next, I see these two pieces. I'll go ahead and bring this down to pair that up like that. And then this piece will come down to make another bar. There we go. And then we just have the last bar for the red center. So we're going to go ahead and pair those two up. Bring this up for there. And then bring in the last piece like that. And there we go. That's our red center all done. So next we're going to move on to the orange. And again, sorry if I'm going a bit fast or not explaining as much, because what I'm doing here is a lot of concepts that I've explained in like the 5x5 and 4x4 videos. So I don't want it to get too redundant. But yeah, next we see this orange bar and this piece here, so we'll go ahead and bring that up. And of course, we're making sure that orange is opposite of red. And then next we want to pair up the next bar. Let's see, I see these pieces can make an outer bar, so we'll do that. And then a corner piece here. Go. Bring that up to pair those. And again, using that trick from before so that we solve this without messing up this. So I see this, we'll go ahead and solve the next orange bar. There we go. Again, using that trick to preserve the edges. Not the edges, but the center. There we go, that's our last bar. And there we go, first two centers are done. So next, I see this blue bar, so we'll just do the blue center next. So we can, I see this bit here, so we'll go ahead and make the next outer bar. That, and then we need a corner piece. There's one right here, so we bring that down. There we go. Now we have two outer bars. So I see this. We'll go ahead and bring that up to build an inner one. We can do that so that when this comes up, we have a full bar. And then we can put that in with the rest of our blue center, and now we just have one bar left. Go ahead and do that to pair those two up. And then these two will just come down nicely like that. Be sure to restore the edges that we misaligned and then bring that down. And that's our blue center. So actually I need to make sure this is in the right place. So it goes red, white, blue. So yes, this is in the right place. This needs to be the white center. We can go ahead and let's see, we need a white piece to go here. There's one. And again, preserving edges is something we need to do a lot here. Or not edges, but centers. So this piece can come up here to match up with that. We misaligned that, so we can go ahead and undo the move we did to resolve that. And then a little bit of magic. Now we have our two center bars. We're going to do the next outer one. That. Alright, so we're going to have to bring this piece out. Go. Now we have 3 bars done. Go ahead and that. And we're just missing one piece. Oh boy. And I say oh boy because it looks like somehow in the process I've managed to, as you can see, I've managed to mess up one of the blue bars, but that's not too big of an issue. Doesn't normally happen, but And it does. It's not the end of the world. It's a pretty easy fix. There we go. Now we have our two centers solved, and as you can see, red, white, and blue are in this order as it is with this solved 6x6. We have to, again, because these are even layers and you can slice through the center like that, we have to manually put the centers in their appropriate spots. But now that we have these three, that makes it a lot easier. So this is going to be, we did the red and orange first, so we want to make sure we do it this way. So yeah, actually, yeah, we're on the last two centers. So we're just going to make sure that this is the green because green needs to be opposite of blue. So we'll go ahead and do that. We can pair up edge here to get a bar, then a corner piece here to get a second bar. Let's see, what we want to do now is, all right, so there's a little small thing that comes with a 6x6 and 7x7, and then by extension any cube larger than that. Because of how these there are so many of these like inner center pieces that we can't solve this perfectly, or we can't always solve the last two centers perfectly. So what we'll have to do is use what's called a commutator, and that's why we have this other cube here to kind of demonstrate. I'm not going to go into huge detail into what commutators are. I'll actually leave a link in the description for a video, a very interesting video that explains them way better than I ever could. But essentially what a commutator does is it allows us to manipulate two pieces like that, essentially. What we're actually doing is we're using we're actually cycling three pieces, but because two pieces are the same color, it only looks like we're affecting two. So I'll go ahead and do that scenario again, just to explain. So how a commutator works is, right, we have this green here and this red here. Obviously these two need to swap pieces, but you can't exactly only affect two pieces on a cube, if that makes sense. So first what we want to do is we want to set this piece up so that we can solve it with only one move. So we do a setup move like this. So now this red is in line with this green, so that when we move this up, that piece is solved. But as you can see, that affected a lot of other things on the cube. So what we need to do is we need to get another piece into this spot so that so that we have a solid green line here. So now we can undo those two moves to essentially solve the rest of the cube. So now what we need to do is we need to do another setup move like this. So now we can move this green piece up, and that will match up with this, right? So now we kind of have like this weird pattern. If you're wondering how we fix that, what we do is we undo the first setup move, undo the first solving piece, and what that does is that brought the piece that was up here down. So now that's back where, so now that green piece is solved, and then we can do the same thing here, or we undo the second setup move, undo the first move, and now as you can see, the cube is solved. So essentially with a commutator, you're doing a setup move, you're solving something with one move, you're solving a piece with one move, then you do a second setup move to restore that, and then you undo the first solve and undo the first setup move. Again, I'll leave that might sound a bit confusing, so I'll leave a video in the description I'll leave a link in the description to a video that can explain that way better than I ever could. But yeah, so now our goal is we want to get as many of these pieces solved as possible. I don't think we're going to be able to get more than what we already have. Yeah, I think this is as far as we go. We're only going to have, like in this scenario, we can only have like these two unsolved instead of just one. So what we're going to do is, again, we're just going to do those commutators, but instead of doing it on this corner piece, we're going to do it to these center edges. So I'm going to solve this top one first, right? So I want to solve this with one move. Actually, I probably could solve both of these at the same time, but I'm going to do this a little simpler. No, I can't solve them at the same time. Scratch that. But yeah, we're going to solve just this top one first. So I want to do one move to solve it. So that's this. As you can see, that's now yellow. But now we have an issue because we need green here to come back. So we do another setup move so that now I can replace this with green, as you can see. So now when I undo the setup move and undo that first move, that replaces that yellow with green. And now when I undo the second move and undo the second solve, that replaces the green with yellow. So again, it's a really cool concept, and like I said like a trillion times by now, I will leave a link in the description for anyone who's interested in learning more about commutators and how they affect cubes, because I think it's a really cool thing. But yeah, now we're just gonna do that same thing again for this for these two last pieces. Hold on. There we go. We're gonna do it for these last two pieces right here. Go ahead and do that. And yeah, it's only 4 moves, but it's like a really useful skill to have. So now again, we're moving on to edge pairing. And with a 6x6, again, with pretty much any cube larger than this, I just use the same method as with 5x5. So here we're just gonna do free slice. So again, we're just gonna slice over to solve these red and yellow, or red and white here. Do an edge flip and slice back because there was another red and white there. Then we want to get this last piece in, solve that, and now that this whole edge is solved, we can move that out of the way, replace it with a junk edge, and continue going about. So now we want to slice this over, do the edge flip algorithm, and then slice both these pieces back, so that solves 3 at once, and then bring down the last red and blue, slice that in, and now we have a second solved edge. So we're going to go ahead and place that with the junk edge. I see these two green and white here, so we're going to do the edge flip, slice that over so that we have the two solved green and white. And actually this edge piece has both of the last pieces we need, so we slice them over. That's another edge, and I'm gonna go ahead and solve that into the bottom there. So next we have white and blue. There's another piece here, so we'll bring that in, slice it in. We have 3 solved. We want to find the last one. It's over here. We can slice over and solve that. Solve it into this layer. And I'm doing this for the sake of simplicity. You don't necessarily have to do it for larger cubes. It's sometimes more efficient to just do one side than the other, while in other cases it might be more efficient to solve edges and look ahead for pieces that you want to solve next while you're solving a specific edge, if that makes sense. It depends on a case-to-case basis, but on larger cubes, I prefer to just solve one side then solve the next, rather than look ahead. So now we have this green and yellow, and there's another piece here. We can bring it in like that. Slice over to solve those 3. The last piece is here, so we do the edge flip and slice over to solve. And now we replace that with the junk edge. We have orange and yellow, so we'll go ahead and edge flip so that this can slice over like that. Solve those 2. Next, orange and yellow is here, so we'll bring that in, slice over to solve. And then the last orange and yellow. Yeah, see, this is what I look at. There it is. It's there. So we'll go ahead and do that and slice in. And because I saw, actually, okay, this is actually really useful. I saw the building of this in that, but I also see this red and yellow, which can go with this. So in this case, I am going to take out and put in a particular edge, just because that's beneficial to me. So now we see these 3, and this piece here needs to come in. They're going to slice that. Bring that over and slice back. Then I see that I've set up this blue and yellow by accident, so we're just going to slice that over. And those are our first 4 edges, so we'll go ahead and realign the centers. And now what I personally like to do is I like to solve these inner edges first, and then solve the outer edges. Because I feel like that kind of helps prevent having parity just a little bit. Because that's another thing, because this is the even layer cubed, you do get parity like with the 4x4. So first I want to get this orange green over here, so I'm gonna slice over, get the edge flip algorithm, slice back, and now I want to get the rest of this solved. So the same thing, because this is opposite, we'll go ahead and slice over, edge flip, slice back. Next I want to get this red and green, but they're on opposite sides, so what I want to do is I'll flip this over, do a double slice, edge flip, double slice back, and now that solves this. And I can slice this over, edge flip algorithm, and I'll slice this way because I see this piece here. I'll edge flip, slice back, and now that's solved. Then let's see, we have the last 2 centers, so go ahead and do this. Edge flip, slice back, that solves this, and we might have parity here. No, we're not going to have parity. or at least we're not going to have an inner layer of parity. There we go. So now we move on to 3x3 stage. So we'll go ahead and solve the cross. And again, I'm not going to go into too much detail because 3x3 stage is something that becomes more and more common as we do more of these videos. But there's our cross, it's fully solved. Next we want to do F12. So first I see this red and green pair. We'll pair it up like that, and then solve it into the slot like that. Next I see this orange and green, so go ahead and pair that up, as you can see. Then we will solve it in like that. And then we have red and blue, go ahead and pair it up and solve it. And then finally, blue and orange. So we don't have OLL parity here, as you can see, because we have an even number of edges that are oriented and even number of edges that aren't. So we'll go ahead and do OLL. There we go. That's the yellow side. That's the yellow face solved. And we do have PLL parity, so it's exactly the same as the 4x4, but now we do 2 layers at a time instead of just the one. So there we go. That gives us a case that we can solve. And there we go. That's the 6x6 all done. So yeah, I know I went through this one a little quicker, but again, as I've stated before, it does just take concepts from the 4x4 and the 5x5 and you just apply them to this larger cube. Same thing with 7x7, 8x8, all the way up to like the 21x21 or something like that. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick walkthrough solve of the 6x6. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, all that good stuff. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more high quality content like this in the future. But that'll be it for me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.